Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people, meaning you, every last one of you, having the experience of your dreams right now, today, in your bodies, on this planet, during these times. That's my ambition. That's my ambition because I'm led by a spirit that says that the creator of us all desires this for all of us. And by me knowing this, I must speak and give voice to it, even though you, the people, and I as well, from the past, were born in a society that denies God. It denies God its place. And even today, we deny God. In our churches, we deny God. Why we do it is understandable because we fear the system in which we live, who has a record of killing people that stand up for anything that's totally different than what it is. And so our fear of dying and our lack of knowledge and understanding of a God that is bigger than our death, who uses that as a sleeping pill to bring us to a higher level if that's the way we choose to go. But we don't know that. And so while we'll honor God with our words and we'll come together and sing songs and dance and give out soup lines and hold charities and stuff like this, we do this to make an excuse to say that we are glorifying God when our silence to the rules and regulations of a system that creates all of these problems is our true testimony of where we really are with our understanding. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I say to you these things because I understand that one time what I'm just sharing with you, I did not know. I did not know it. I was just like you. I was I was one of those guys who wanted to find out what was going on, be everybody's friend, and make it. And it was a pretty good run until I realized that the people who are around me who are not making it simply because of the way the system affects them, and recognizing that I was a part of the problem. And somebody must have planted a seed in me earlier that was nourished by this awakening and brought me to a realization that these things did not have to be. And though I didn't understand how to get rid of it, I began to search within myself, trying to see others as I see myself and desiring for others as I desire for myself. Then I began to reach out further beyond the sphere of just the you and me, but why of you and me. And I began to understand that there's something that's bigger than both of us. And that while I'm not really doing this as a benefit to you or because I just understand, but I'm doing this because this is the plan that we, as an expression of our understanding of that power that brought all existence into being, understanding that and being a channel of that same spirit that's able to hold the earth in its place, and every tree in its place, and the rivers and waters of every sort, grass and flowers and plants and weeds of every feed in their place, even to hold us here, must have some kind of supremacy over the situation that we're talking about today. And so I trust that. And so I understand that you do not understand. Loving God, knowing God means that we accept another teaching, means that we have a new relationship. It's like being remarried. Maybe a bad example, but it's a remarriage is the example. When we leave one spouse and find another, then our allegiance is to that spouse, not to the one we had before, not even to even think about what it was before, but just to be grateful and happy at what it is now. So once we understood the foundation of our living, because that's all we had, that's all we were exposed to, but the searching of our heart for one reason or another pushed in a new vision of life and a new understanding, one that's so fantastic that it's worth giving your life for, not killing for. It is never worth killing for. Nothing is worth killing for. Maybe perhaps some people will use the excuse of self-defense. But other than, there is nothing worth killing for. But there are many things worth dying for. And I can think of nothing no more humbling no more loving than to lay down your life when you don't have to. You can be a part of the game, play with the norm, get along with everybody, maybe even be successful in life. These are chances that you can take. But why take that? Why not stand for the benefit of life, not just for my immediate family, not just for my neighborhood, not for my city, my county, my state, or my nation, but to stand for it in behalf of every individual on the earth. And do it because that is what God does, and that's what God wants represented. Every individual on the face of the earth must know that God loves them, must know it. And how will they know it except some people, led by the Spirit of God, refuse to accept a continuation of the status quo? In fact, they demand that changes be made or that they themselves are killed. Because knowing this path, the end of it is the planet is changing for the better, or the one that truly believes is being nailed to the cross. And I say these things to you as a challenge to those who say they love God. And most specifically, I do it to challenge the church. You know, when we go to elementary school or middle school, we begin to study about the history of our various states. We began to study even earlier about the history of our country. We studied the foundations of the things that took place that led us to where we are today. We study these things. But at the same time, we are not bound by them. We are not bound by the discovery of a stone wheel to stay that way, to refuse to progress because we had found the stone wheel. We were not bound. And likewise, knowing God, you're not bound to listen to stories that were told by men thousands of years ago. They have their place. But times come when even they are out of place. And it's time for a new place. And there's no better time than right now, when people are going through the feelings of neglect and hopelessness right now. And right now is the time to make those necessary changes, to make this world a better place. So I am, in a short piece, say to America, I want peace, prosperity, and joy for all humankind, beginning here in America, where we control something, and let our example be the message to the rest of the world. But I want every last one of us to have peace, prosperity, and joy, and that to be translated into unlimited, unrestricted education, unlimited, unrestricted health care, and a guarantee of a career of everyone's choosing. These three we guarantee, because we know in fulfilling this, we will have come as close as we possibly humanly can to peace, to prosperity, and joy. Now, what I'm basically talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is that you having the ability to own what you want to own in your house, in your transportation, in your leisure. You having the authority, because it is all at your exposure. And it is there because each of you, in playing the specific role that is dear to your heart, it's like the fitting on of a glove to that most fitting hand, where we have the creation of goods and services to the magnitude so amassed that every American citizen can draw from it its desire, its belly full, as it were, on what they want. And they owe no one anything. They are superior to none. They are superior to themselves, and themselves only. And they are only superior to themselves because there's a power, there's a movement, there's a desire beyond that to recognize that nothing belongs to any of us. And everything belongs to a power outside of us. And so we humble ourselves to that power. We humble ourselves to say thank you for making available to us all of the resources that are being used, and all, whether it's labor or the materials, or just desire, the framework, the interest to create this heaven on earth. Saying it, desperately thankful for it. Now, I want that. I want it for every last one of us. And I will not settle for less. And in protest, and in representation of this for which I present, I will do what's right when I'm in every turn. But laws that are being passed that are designed to take money from us, to control us, manipulate us, I recognize them as they really are. And I am no longer going to follow them. And I'm willing to pay the price of every violation, because I want everybody that loves God to know that this is required of you. Don't let someone tell you Jesus Christ died on the cross and he has paid the price. Jesus Christ did what he had to do. But every free man cannot be bound by the fear of death. Free men know that death is and the freedom from the fear of death is the thing that keeps them alive. And so I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, I say to you honestly, do you realize that all of the pain and suffering in America is kept alive by you, the people? You, the people. Those of you who do not care at all. Those of you who care and vote. Doesn't matter. These things continue to exist. And the thing that is necessary, that is required to eradicate it, you refuse to do. It's like in the Old Testament of the Bible, when the people said, we don't want God to be our king. We want a king we can see. And that was understandable. They themselves didn't understand God, not in the sense that is required in order to be able to manifest the great blessings that we all think about. Howbeit that today in a church a preacher will tell you that tithing, paying your tithe, God will open up a window and pour you out a blessing that there won't be enough room held to contain. Well, the blessing has already been poured out. We, the people, have just not understood the way to get it. But that is not the understanding. That is not even the message that's given when it is said that if you pay your tithes. I think if a preacher needs to have his bills paid, that should be communicated amongst his members. And by membership and association, they agree that they will meet these, whatever these obligations might be. And they do it. But not on the pretext of some God great going to do for you. No, God has done his part. And we, the people, must, out of the love of our heart, love that leads us back to God, will get the power, the understanding to stand up. And right now, it seems like I might be the first one. I know I'm not. I know Dr. King and Malcolm X and some of those other brothers and sisters were number ones as well. But I want to make it known that I'm not dying for my family. I'm not dying for freedom from poverty. I'm giving my life so that every citizen, not just in America, but everyone on the planet can enjoy the life. And I wish they could listen to me, because I have been given a vision that would help you to understand the doors that must be closed in order to eradicate this constant cancer that keeps growing all over. Not just this nation, but the world. But I can definitely show you how to shut it down here in America. And once the fruits of the efforts have been made manifest from such actions, then the world can begin to see a beacon of hope over here in the Americas. And we would be what? Over delighted to let them in on what is not a secret, but a message that we have been blessed to hear. And so having said that, I don't know what my purpose really was in saying it, but I hope, having said it, that you have your own. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people, saying bye-bye.